Welcome to Leathermen's discussion group. My name is Al Ram. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're very excited to have you. We're very excited for this program tonight. I'm going to leave all. If you'd like to get involved in LDG as a volunteer, or if you want more information, visit us at ldg.org or come see me after the break. And now I will turn it over to Donald, who will tell us about tonight's program. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Al. And bear with me as I get used to the sound and figure out how to talk and not. Thank you for coming this evening. Welcome to this evening's program. I'm super excited to be co-presenting with Danny Robert and talking to you guys about electroplay. We're going to do some show and tell this evening. I know there's at least one person in the audience who's brought some stuff besides what we've got on display here. But I want to kick off by getting an idea of who's in the room in terms of electro experience. So would you raise your hand if you have experience of having electro used on you, even if it was you doing it? Okay, keep your hands up and raise your other hand if you liked it. Okay, and now go, yeah! Now, if you were one of the people that put their hand up but you didn't like it, go like that. Okay, there's at least two over there. Oh, one here. I'd like to find out more about your guys' bad experiences, because very often, I think you can have a bad experience on a first go, and could be, there's so many different kinds of things that you can attach to yourself.
Can I go first?
Yes.
I was 5 years old and I stuck my tongue in electrical. Bad experience.
And did that make you go?
No.
Okay.
Only did it 5 times.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, so what was your first experience?
Well, we were trying to figure out if physical therapy counts as electro, so that's so mine was not all sexual.
It wasn't a negative. Also, it wasn't a negative experience. It was just a null.
Yeah. The guy who did it, the physical therapy was really hot. But that was the only sexual thing about it. For some reason, it felt kind of weird, and I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, most recently was individual electrodes in a physical therapy session.
Okay.
Not right at all.
But you did feel something.
Oh yes.
Okay. And so where were the electrodes attached to? On the shoulder. Okay. So not necessarily going to expect that to be what I do. So thank you for sharing that.
Can I ask a question? When it looked like it was more than just not erotic, it was anti-erotic, or would be pushing you away from erotic experience? Yes?
It's a little, I don't know, because I think a different context would these kind of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, gentlemen, come on in. Yeah.
Can you raise your hand if you've got an open seat next to you, please?
Can you raise your hand if you have an open seat next to you? Or on you. Thank you, Al.
Please, sorry.
So do you want to take it first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have some info for those who might be new to electro, some experience to see how that might go, and then some show and tell from those of you who might have done it. Yes? Does anyone here have a show and tell about violet wands? Oh. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to talk a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit, and then you can show a little bit. Or talk a bit.
I have to send him to the car for the bag, so yes.
Send who?
Which John?
John, go to the car. So there are two over here, yeah? Great. What we don't want to do is set up an expectation where we're going to have show and tells and then we miss you. So just raise your hand or keep your eye out, or make us do that. So for beginners, can I have a raise your hand who has never this is new territory, brand new. Great, nice. Awesome, thank you for coming. Good for you, good for you. As I said, I stuck my tongue in electrical outlets when I was a kid. And when I do it now, I can hear my mother screaming at me. So this is not, I will never have this as an erotic experience getting done too, but that's why I'm doing it. So there are basically two kinds of electrode toys. A violet wand is sending an electrical current, it's not sending an electrical current, it's just stimulating electrically the surface of your skin. Your body is a battery. The Matrix got it right. The other type of E-stim stimulation is sending around, extending electrical current through your body, through the muscle tissue. This is the surface stuff. The boxes are the body stuff, like maybe in the frog twitch during.
Yeah.
So this is the violet wand. I want the gasps. Put that on my dick, sir. It's really
Darth Vader.
Yeah, maybe if you went.
okay. This is actually called the lightsaber. So, knowing that I hate this, you all know how much I love you, because I'm actually going to do this. I hope you can see there's going to be a little spark.
Ooh.
Well done, sir! We reward good behavior. So who wants to stand up here and have me do this to them? Please say yes. You. No, anyone? Yeah, stand up.
Don't be shy.
This is just a quick thing, and I want, if the best you can, describe how that feels.
Pokey?
Pokey. Ooh. I do like you making this.
Feels like one of the pinwheels.
Yeah.
Work wheels. Think
Work weird, yeah. Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to stand up here real fast? Come on down.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you for that volunteer. If you turn around, face the room. Is there some place you would like me to do this other than your arm? So, give us some words to describe what's happening.
I mean, it's supposed like little pinpricks, or like whenever you touch somebody after you like drag your feet on the carpet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little, but it's consistent.
Yeah, it's like getting shot.
Yeah,
But it
instead of,
stays
like,
on.
that one.
Good. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Thank you. That is basic. But when you think this has a lot of very cool, like, extrapolary things you can do with the violet wand, including becoming the conduit yourself and transferring electricity not through the little thing, but through your hands. You have to ground yourself. The thing I hate about this is the giver gives as much sensation as the receiver. Fuck you, people. You have to ground yourself so the copper tube goes close to the body too. That's kind of cool. No, it's not. Should I take this off or turn it off?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Turning it off might be advisable.
I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow it. I would turn it off. Here, turn that off. I just don't want current going through it while I'm sending current through my body.
Right.
Come on. Get up here, bitch.
Or maybe-
Come on.
or maybe
Come here.
just-
Come on. There we go. Is that off? You're good. And put it in the pants, not next to my there. So you got the leather would insulate, right? Ish. No.
Do we unplug
Do
it?
you want to do it?
Well, I've got one too.
Okay, there you go. Eric, does this screw or unplug? It unplugs.
Okay,
Perfect.
there we go.
All right. So now I am tube that's coming out of the thing, and my hand will stimulate this sort of. Bodies are not as conductive as that little tube, so it. Oh, fuck. So can I have a victim? Can I stand up? I hate this part, really. Okay. Then we're getting to the fun thing. That's not that. Ah!
Yes.
Okay. Oh shit.
Sticking your tongue in an electric socket.
No, I know, but I was fine. Oh my god. So, giving head.
Yes.
Fucking works the same way. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. I need to fucking get over.
Demo, please.
Oh, fucking on their nose. Okay.
Someone?
So anyway.
It's not nearly as bad as Daddy Robert's faking out.
Oh,
Here
okay.
we go, here we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to touch you. Now, with bodies, the current is dissipated. And, I am going to have to probably turn it up. We'll see what you feel, and I'll work on it.
Let's do the fingers.
You feel anything?
A little bit?
It's quite light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going through him and then through me.
Right.
There we go.
What I'm feeling now is mostly just like really pinpoints of hot, high temperature. Like
That's what it felt on my tongue.
It's so light that it's not very pokey.
No.
Not pokey.
Right.
Oh.
It's just a little.
I can feel it here. Now, as my palms get very
I
sweaty,
can smell it.
because I'm stressed, the water will transmit more. You can smell it?
Yeah. It's just like the smell of ozone.
Ooh.
Burnt
okay.
hair.
Burnt hair.
Go on the back of my neck.
Neck. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
That was really nice.
Do the head thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. And then the balls. So you make it look so fun.
This is really nice.
Nice.
So, I want to say, what's great about the whole of that 5 minutes there that you've illustrated is how differently different people feel it and perceive it. I really wanted to bring someone along tonight who some of you would have seen before. He was one of the wrestlers that we had last year. I put some of my one of my electric toys on him and got a reaction I've never gotten from anyone else, which was just hysterical laughter. Just uncontrollable hysterical laughter.
Was he feeling tickled?
Yeah, or something like that. And I've used the same thing on a fair number of people, never had anything like that. So, you are going to have your own experience with it, whatever it is.
Just a couple more info bits. I think we're ready to move on to the next
Oh,
step.
keep going.
So we did, by extension, this. So a Wurdenberg wheel, and then adds the electro bits to it. It was you who told me, I think, that you can use a cloth that has metallic wires in it. So lay that over the sub, and then all of that becomes
Like
gold
silver
lame.
yeah.
Your favorite material.
I do love being a cable. Oh my god. And one last little thing. Some kits will come with ways to that intimate tactile thing I was doing. There's a way to a metal clip on your fingernail will focus the electric current and pass it through in a more direct way. Yeah.
So, how does body jewelry play into this? I'm assuming that if you are touching or if you are wearing that the way you are, that if you have piercings, that they will conduct.
No, the current is looking for somewhere to go. This is my understanding of it. You were shaking your head if you had a better answer than I did.
Go ahead, go.
Okay. Because that's on me and me, it needs to go to some other source. So not my experience is not so much with people I'm playing with. Yeah.
And could you
Go ahead.
transfer that charge from like the piercing from one person piercing to another?
Do you have a piercing?
Yeah.
Let's try.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they'll heat up much faster in your skin. So the reaction can be, like if you held it on a piercing for a long period of time, the piercing would heat up to a point where it cauterizes the skin, which you obviously wouldn't want.
Ooh,
Which is very hot.
that's very hot.
So this is something I've heard. It's not something I've done because I don't want to risk trying it. But those who have nipple piercings, I don't use my violet wand near the nipple because I don't want any effect on their heart rhythms, whether they have a pacemaker or not. Like I just try to avoid changes
So we haven't talked about
conduction.
safety yet, but we could. I am going to go here a little bit. That is, with this, you're not sending a current through their body. Even with eStim, if I'm going, well, okay, brief overview, electric needs a current. The source comes out, there's some contact point with your body, another contact point with your body, it goes through your body, it's looking to ground the quickest way it can, it finds the other output and goes out. Now, if I have a nipple clamp on this nipple right over my heart, it's gonna go from there to there. It's not going through me. I'm probably rack rather than that. Even this, I would feel no compunction with playing on someone's chest because there's no current that's going through their body, it's all surface. But the heart is an electric muscle, and you do want to ask about pacemakers or some other thing, or heart arrhythmias or anything that would really send you to the hospital rather than having it seen. So yes. Does that make sense? I mean, I wouldn't go from here to here. I wouldn't put a patch, you know? But if I'm just doing a nipple clamp, I would do that over the heart without.
I would go look at the nipple because it goes across the skin. It's not going into.
Right.
And not only that, but to get to your heart, there's so many other things that are conductive of energy. They're going to send it out before it gets there. If you have a pacemaker, that's a totally different
story.
Totally different animal.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Any other questions about
Violet wands.
Just want to make a comment. Before these were kink toys, this dates back a long, long time, like back in the 30s, where they were quack medicine and cured all known diseases. And when you go to the flea market or whatever, you see a lot of really, really old ones that have wax round cores.
Yeah.
And when they get warm, they can melt and short. Okay, so be aware of that. And if you look at wax, can you hold up the wire?
The wire?
The wire lead, the body part. The body part underneath. Out of a counter pit, okay, and some wire or whatever. And that actually has a gap in it for safety, okay? So you want to actually buy one of those rather than making one out of stuff in your garage, okay? Because it's got about an 1/8-inch gap in there, so that if you
about 19th century stuff, it's true. These were dermatological, they claimed you could grow your hair. And we still have people who come in the store, they have a zit, they put their in and they zap their face. Right there, thinking that it's going to kill the bacteria on their skin. Sounds like a bunch of hogwash to me, but there are many people who still believe that that's true. And cosmetic stores that will ask a lot of money for you to do that. But I just did. Anybody want to? Yeah, is it true?
When they were used for the theoretical benefits like that is, you would put it to your and then turn it on, because if there's no gap between it and your face, ow!
That's different. Oh, really? That's different.
There has to be a gap for you to get that sensation. And
I feel it, but it's not.
Right.
You see it?
Very different.
Yeah.
And the really
It's purple.
the really old ones had bulbs like that. They had really thin ones that were meant to be inserted in urethras and ears, and which, of course, today I would never do in a million years, but when they were sold in 1920 or whatever, they had those attachments.
That's right, I know.
Okay. Okay. Did we? We went there. That's this.
That's that. Thank you.
I'm gonna unplug it before.
All right, you tidy that up,
Yes.
and I will talk to you a little bit about my experience, and then we'll come back to some more of what you guys have done. So my first experience of electro, I don't think I went round specifically for it. It sort of sprung on me. I was reasonably open to it. And I was on the floor. I had probably things like these, which are kind of elastic bands, which I think these have some metal running through them, like cloth that Rob was describing, and then a contact there. These aren't my preferred attachments, but I think they're pretty similar to the ones that was first used on me. I did not have control of the box, someone else did, didn't know much about it, didn't exactly know what he was doing with it either. All I remember was lying on the floor, thumping the mat that I was lying on. Yes! Oh, yes. I took this box up to the highest settings, and just couldn't get enough. I think the first box I got was this one. It's PS. I feel like I'm not supposed to make a company. It has Folsom in the name.
Paradise Electric.
Well, it is the Folsom Electric Company. Thank you. And it's not my preferred box out of the two I have now, because it's explaining how these vary the frequency and intensity of the electrical current that you're receiving. But wherever you put it with these dials, that's where it stays until you make another adjustment. So it's a kind of, it can get monotonous, you know, I mean, if certainly playing with it on your own, it's a little monotonous. For a top, it's a little bit more work than the other one, and a little harder to control what kind of sensation you're giving your bottom. Whereas this one has a bunch of different programs that sort of pulse, and you know they have different names. You know, they've got smooth, caress, swing. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Burst, alternate, stepper, shooter, auto climb, and climax. As well as some manual stuff, you can program these things as well with your own things. So I bought this one, played with it a little bit, didn't really get that much out of it. Like most toys I've got, this has been most effective when someone else has used it on me rather than me trying to use it myself. It's just a whole different dynamic. And this one I've definitely come from on either setting 2 or 7 or 9. And I prefer the attachments I'm most helpful. And what you're seeing now is exactly the biggest problem with this bloody stuff. There are endless amounts of leads and attachments that get caught up in each other. It's worse than iPhone. So these are reasonably easy to adjust. It's electrical rubber, so you can put that around, you know, either the cock and the balls or just the cock, and then you usually attach the other one to the head of the cock. The current goes up and down the cock, and you know, according to the the style of the program you've got it on. One of the biggest things I got from Electro was not remotely into pain or SA. But using Electro, I was able to experience sensations which had my brain thought, okay, that's something hitting me or that's something cutting me, I have to, you know, my self-preservation has to be, I have to stop this now. Because I knew that there wasn't any damage happening, I was able to let it happen and wrap my head around it and eroticize it and find that space right at the edge between pain and pleasure, and it basically opened up SM play for me. So, you know, it seems like most of you that have tried Electro have loved it, so I don't need to sell it too hard to you. But, you know, if you're ever trying to convert someone from being, you know, just into bondage into someone who might be into something a little bit more, I highly recommend Electro as a way of doing that. Who else here has boxes like these, or one you have there, Robert?
Standard box, Yummy.
Yeah.
It is the most popular one we sell, Mr. S.
Okay.
300, no, $299. But nice, solid circuitry is going to wear out very fast.
Tell us about your experience with it.
I really had a lot of fun with it for a while. That box in particular, like I really liked all the automated settings, all the different types.
This one or
no, the one that Robert's got there. But, you know, all the 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 ramp up and the pulse and everything else. There were some great random settings on there that were a lot of fun. Also, it had an option for picking up audio.
Yes.
So you can hook it up to your stereo or put it on a mic or wear a mic. And
then when the voice screams,
screams,
screams, yeah, that was good.
But overall, I was a little bit disappointed in the end, just because over time it feels not much different than a heavy duty vibrator.
Okay.
And which personally doesn't do a whole lot for me anyway.
Right.
But I was really excited about trying all the different, the various attachments and the different leads, and I found some things that I really like a lot.
Such as?
But the butt plugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Really nice. I had a bit of a learning curve. Maybe something you could talk about, the fact that there are bipolar and unipolar toys.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need like different sets of cables and different attachments for those.
I can go there real fast. On some, I don't see. So
this one, I think this one might be. Well.
Yeah, you can see it. Good. So this is bipolar. There are two leads coming in. The current is going from that to that, right? It's going through you from here to here.
So sometimes it's really happy, and other days it's just.
You were warned. So it's a bipolar toy. It has both leads attached to it. Most of them who are bipolar will have the lead there for you. So it's moving through your body from there to there. Some toys are unipolar, that you have to ground it and make the current go somewhere else. The toy doesn't provide that. So you can.
Well, you have to use them in pairs very often, right? So
Right. There's two things happening. Either the butt plug, and then you put something on your taint or your balls, and it's going from the toy through prostate out. Or we have urethral sounds that in your dick, and then there's some other attachment. So it's going through your dick out, stuff like that. I see nods. I'm seeing nods from you. Would you like to share a little story about a sound?
No, just hearing.
Oh, okay. This. So it has one little plug, it's unipolar. The fun thing about a sound with electricity, so contact points, right? Big pad, stuff is dispersed, pointy thing, current, same amount of current is focused on that little area. So when it's deep in your dick, it's dispersed when you're pulling it out. Right there, that's the heart. So nuanced and subtle and all the fun things about that. Did that answer the question about unipolar, bipolar? We could show someone. No, can we?
What with these?
With these, yeah. I like to do the arm twitching thing. It's
okay.
It's
sure.
also, it's I'm not.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah.
Sort of. Come right in. Yeah. I'm going to talk for a minute while I sort that roof.
Yeah.
And can I have a volunteer's arm? Hey, come on.
So, like just about any piece of electrical equipment you get, the fuckers have made them with different kinds of leads to plug in. So I'm afraid it's not one size fits all. This is, it's even worse for me because I bought this in the UK, so I've got to stick that on that one. So this fits the Electrostim, and I've got a different one for the Folsom box, and then the attachment, that's got a totally different thing, which in order to make it work with this box, I have to put this attachment on there.
Yes.
So
There's a 2.5, that little pin is a 2.5, there's a 5 mil, there's a banana clip, which is a switch. Come on, have roll it over. Oh, roll up your sleeve. Let me turn it that way. Let me turn to the audience. All right, these are cloth backing with a conductive rubber and a gel that is sticky. Slap it on. There we go. I want your finger to think. So, let me see. The tendon's going up here. I want that right there. And then that. So I want to make his fingers dance. A little bit. So these are 2 mil pins, and I think the jack in the box is a 5 mil pin. Now attach. Oh, always turn it off. Safety first. What the hell? There we go. Come on, get in there. What?
Lick it, see if it's on.
That's the wrong weed. No. I bought new ones for tonight. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Do you have a small
this one?
Yeah.
Will that work?
Yes.
Okay, here, use this. And again, you can expect this kind of shenanigans. This is definitely, it's one of the things when you play with Electra, you definitely want to take some time before the scene starts so that your sub isn't lying there going, what's happening?
Okay. So, just run the camera. We're going to put it on pulse. I don't want to put it on random, and I don't want to put it on microphone, because then I'll make it clear. Nope. So you'll see the box has 2 channels. There's blue little lights that tells you what's on. This is going out. Contact point is flesh, becomes the conductor. Contact point comes back into the thing there. There's also a second channel. We can do that whole thing, so you could have this happening at the head of his cock, the base of his cock, head of his cock around his balls, etc. Yeah, let's see if we can get this. You do? Oh, whoops. Okay. Oops. Let's put this on throb. So here.
Someone worked hard coming up with all those names.
Yeah, it's like colors for Bob's stroke throat. But they're pre-programmed little experiences. This middle dial will alter.
Middle fingers going.
Little finger go. Can we get one more? Good eye. Ooh, look at that. It's like, never mind, my friend. You can do a lot of interesting things with someone.
You can make people be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing I like to do without if we have public is you put on the butt cheek and you can make them twerk. We can't do that. Can we?
I mean, you can after the break.
We can after break. Can't move. Okay.
I'll have again after a break.
Can we roll this up your bicep and just make you go like that? Is that a no? Do you want to ask other people?
Yeah. So who's brought something with them, and maybe not the heavy stuff yet. unless that's all we've got. Who's got something we can show them?
Going back to the other bag.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the other bag.
Because you did the right bag. Okay.
I also have a couple of lightweight pervertibles.
Okay, let's go with lightweight convertibles. What do you got? Just so, in case anyone's not clear what a pervertible is, it's a toy that wasn't intended for sex, but has been perverted into one for sex. That would be correct, right?
Yes. Basically everything.
Like this electric fly swatter. Now it has to be one like this that does not have a plastic guard on the outside because you won't be able to feel anything. This one is an older one that doesn't, so it just has those wires. And so you activate it, and then you touch it to somebody's body.
Oh, shit.
So you touch Daddy
screwdriver stuff.
So it just makes a little spark on your skin.
That was one contact point? Does it like go together and try? I was
No, it's just
expecting it to
single.
highlight on all the little threads there.
No, wherever the body is touching that. So you need sort of like an elbow or a muscle or a dick head or that sort of thing.
Do it again.
So that's on the mild side and a pervertible. The other one of my favorite pervertibles is this goodie that I have my second boy wear sometimes. What it is a shock collar that's designed for a little dog. And what you can do is use the collar part that came with it, make it small enough to be a cock ring, and then have the two contacts either behind his balls, which is the best way for if he's walking around, or you can have it on top at the base of the dick, which is much more painful, and in clothing it doesn't work as well. And so you can use this remote control, and it has a pretty good range of maybe up to like about 30 feet or so.
You just zap it?
Yeah, I mean, if I want, if we're like at the 15th anniversary dinner and I want to find out where he is, I press a button and I hear this, and then I know where he is. Or if he goes to the restroom and I want to test the range and I press the button, he comes back and tells me how he suddenly sprayed the wall. But
that's awesome.
or if your boy's a little bit of a smartass, sometimes we were at boot camp and he found the line where it was out of range. So he went, oh, can't get me. Can't get me. So it's an example of a pervertible that way, and you should be sure to get one that's a really good quality, because the cheaper ones wear out or don't work well. This works really well, and then this one I like because there are two ranges of intensity. You know, range 1 through 5, and range 2. One time I accidentally had it set too high, and I pressed the button, he almost fell down on the sidewalk, so I turned it down a little bit.
I saw two hands.
He answered the question.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And
those are really fun. I did a scene once, and it actually had a sound that it made before it gave the jolt of electricity, but you could do a fake out. So sometimes you'd hear the sound and he'd brace himself and there was no current.
Yeah, because you can't do the sound only.
Yeah.
The noise only.
So I just want to pick up on the point you made about this in underwear doesn't fit very good.
Oh, well, just based on anatomy, if you're wearing clothing and you have this on underneath and behind the balls, you can walk around and wear it for a length of time. While if you had it on top at the base of the dick, just the way clothing works and all that, it doesn't lend itself to long-term wear.
Okay, so that's a useful piece of information.
Yeah, it's just about the architecture.
Right. I was wondering if you were talking about how sometimes the contacts don't, it dislodges the contacts, because one of the things that is something to watch out for when you're playing, and many of you will know this, you've done it, but for those of you that don't, and this is why I prefer this attachment over this one, which is that even if there's a sensation which you enjoy, or depending on how you define enjoy, if the contact becomes not very good, you can wind up with a feeling that's really, it wasn't the one you were going for. Let's just put it that way. And with these ones, I just find that's much more likely to happen than with these rubber ones, which you can tighten up nicely to a nice snug fit where it's not going to, yeah.
thank you. So I want to see if we can make them. Don't put it again. Okay. I am turning that on to throb. Okay. Let me increase that. I'm going to dial it up. Ready? Yep. Right about there. Should be. No,
yeah, I got it.
You feel it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. That's a throbbing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's throbbing. Feel it. Got a vibration. I don't know, it feels like a sting. Guys, in case you want to know what the sensation feels like.
Is it
It's like a
moving your arm?
sting.
I'm not
It's
twitching
not
your
moving my
arm.
arm.
Oh,
It's just a sting.
Sting's not good. I have found the hard part of these things is each one of those is a whole range of feelings and its sensations. The dial in the middle changes. Like if it's thrust, it's the rate of the thrust. If it's swell, it's the rate of the swell or the width of the swell. So you're constantly exploring about different.
And it is one of the hard things when you're controlling the box, if you're not very familiar with the different programs on yourself, to try and judge where a person's at. I mean, what I generally do is I start by saying to someone, tell me when you can feel it. And people usually feel it at different points. And then I usually say, let me know when.
Someone jump off a bed or anything else.
Right.
So you gotta have a really good pressure point.
Now, if you'd attended our last program, you would know how to shave them down.
Good call.
You were talking about, I just want to touch on this, the different types of bands.
Ooh, look how big that is.
Yes, thank you. One of the reasons these last longer and feel more consistently, I don't know what's happening, it's a conductive rubber and that's all it is. This is a conductive fiber glued to an elastic. So there's a lot of things that come apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also this is just much harder to adjust on anyone's costumes. It's like a fucking airline's seatbelt. Not a big fan.
You have the saline electrogel.
Well, yes, but also again, that's another thing. You're trying to put this around someone, and your hands are covered in that lube, and you're trying to tighten this, and flatten that.
Electric gel, what's that?
I didn't bring any.
I nearly did.
Water is conductive, but there are lubes that have a little bit of salt in them to increase the conductivity between the toy and the flesh. It's also a lube.
If you watch any of the medical shows where they're putting something on the pads,
Yeah.
it's actually the same kind of, that's exactly what it is. It's actually used in medical environments.
There you go.
Jesse's got some.
You guys saw.
Yes.
And it's conductive because it actually helps make sure there's no sharp points of the electricity going. Is it Spectra gel?
Yeah, Spectra 360 Electrogel.
Thank you. You now have things to show us that come in the right bag.
I know how things work.
You have something to show us.
Oh, I need to use it. You know what this is. Yeah.
Say again?
You know what it is, yeah?
I'm not sure I know how it works, but
It's just like a taser, except that you light it up and then it discharges when you touch someone.
has anyone tried this before and knows what it's like and is happy to have it applied to them?
What's the
Really, none of you have tried this before. Have you? Hands up if you have tried this at all, and that's not going to commit you to coming up here. One over there.
One? Really? Up to?
Okay.
It's I guess you call it stun gun light.
Stun gun light. Okay.
It's really a surprise toy. It's an intimidation toy.
It's an intimidation toy. Okay. Well, okay, look. If anyone's curious, come up during the break. You don't have to sort of be worried about wetting yourself in front of everyone.
Unless you're into that.
Unless you're into that. Can we keep this up here until then? Okay, cool. And was there something else you wanted to go to? So, have you got any of your more frightening toys, which clearly no one's going to go for, but probably worth having a look at? Because this is entry level.
Yep.
And you can keep this pretty light. It really doesn't, I mean, this might be starting to ramp things up a bit, but these can be pretty gentle, as long as you don't turn out too much.
Well, we were talking about getting these things out.
Yes, in 10%.
Putting the battery.
Oh, Is that a taser?
You guys sell it, yeah.
Oh, better one.
Oh, what a great story about one of them.
Oh,
So, probably some of you in the room know a lovely man called Jack, who also goes by the name of Dirk in some films. And he and I were traveling to Berlin for Fossil Europe. And we were in a crashing hurry to catch our plane. We were in serious danger of being late. So we're rushing through passport control and security. And he'd forgotten that he put one of these in his hand luggage.
Oh, shit.
And it was actually slightly worse than this one because it had more spiky bits on the end of it than this one does. And so the security guy pulls it out and goes, "What's this?" And Jack's like, "What does it do?" "Well, you hit that and then there's an electric, I don't want to hear that." So yeah, he didn't get that on the plane.
Did they confiscate it?
They confiscated it. But they let us on the plane.
Oh, that is good.
You know, so you can see that. Does it need a second to charge up?
It's definitely so old that it takes a minute.
Oh! So you want to ground it on metal too, so it does not, it's not holding a, like, just touch, touch the toy.
Touch the toy.
Yeah.
There you
What I feel like actually has like they're not noisy enough. I mean, you need something that has like a little bit more of a.
Stalker! So before you go ahead, I was on Muni bus. These two people were having a fight. The woman sits next to me, pulls out her pink purse and her pink taser, says, "Don't worry, I got you covered." Only in San Francisco. I love her. Yeah, go.
We were talking about pervertibles earlier. One thing I have at home is an antique telephone. And for some of you may not know that what happened when you used it as a telephone and you cranked it, it sent an electrical charge down the wires into town to make a bell ring on the switchboard so that the operator could talk to you, could know that you needed a connection and talk to you about your call. So if you have one of those, you can get at a fancy food implement store, you can get escargot tongs. And if you don't know, escargot are snails. And they're shaped just right to clamp onto a testicle. And so you run the wire escargot tongs to the telephone and give it a crank, and hopefully your bile is tied to the table because he's going to try and get off the table if he isn't. But something that's much less intense than that, believe it or not, is one of these kind of stun guns.
Will that drop someone?
If you held it to their neck for 30 seconds.
Yes. Yes.
Do their muscles spasm?
Yes. If you hold this against someone and continuously discharge it like that, they will drop. But if that's not your goal in a scene, what I do is while it's discharging, just touch very briefly.
Yeah.
Just a really quick touch, and that's plenty effective.
And did you say? And I think you're right. Turn it on, just make it go, and then touch. It's not touch.
Right. So this is turned off right now.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's turned off.
I know you. Anybody else want to get this up, Zach?
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yay.
This is turned off now. What I was going to demonstrate was how to apply it. While it's discharging, if you just touch really quickly like that. You never, hold it there while it's discharging. Well,
Come on, do it.
Whole different scene.
Eric, will you let him do it?
Mm-hmm.
Now.
You notice he didn't even flinch? Wait, no, we're not done. Is there dials on that?
That was a pretty mild
That was a pretty mild one.
Yes.
That's the beginner's level taser.
Could we go? Can we see a moderate level taser? Yeah. On him.
Oh.
No, on him.
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, I want to.
This ring style one, it's deceptive. It's so small, but it's pretty effective. This is a really cheap device that was sold at a street fair for self-defense, and it doesn't seem very effective, but it is. It's very, as you termed it, bitey.
It's also very random.
Yeah.
So
Random.
I think the circuits are really cheaply made, so it can either send a huge amount of shock or very little. Because it's
That's fun.
But this one is great that you can carry it in the pocket of your vest or whatever, and it's a little more intense and reliably at the same level than this little bitty one. Then there's
You have a lot of these.
Several.
Wow. Yum.
Oh, I forgot I was wearing this special for tonight. This one is more intense. It's about 1,000,000 volts. I'm not an electrician, so I'm not really qualified to go into depth about volts versus amperes, and but this will give a much more intense sensation.
Jesus Christ.
So
So you were going to demo
That's
moderate, not moderate. We don't. Just moderate.
Okay.
And then.
Well, that's not moderate. This is
Well,
more
the
moderate.
more moderate's good.
Ow.
You barely flinched. Next. Anybody else? Can anyone do? Nobody wants to get tasered? Zapped? No.
That one's a little bit more fighting.
This is like a step higher.
And I know we're
We
almost.
need to, yeah, we need to have to.
Okay. And then the piece de resistance.
Really? Well,
The
lightsaber.
lightsaber. Well, what I brought.
But you have the same thing, right?
Mine's a little similar. This actually is Vibratech, and I actually wanted to mention, these are great to have in San Francisco, especially in certain neighborhoods you live in. They're $20 on eBay. It's
Really?
only $20.
yeah, they're
And the nice thing is with this one here, it also doubles as a flashlight.
Wait, will that full TSA?
Probably
What's
not.
also great is if you have someone blindfolded and they don't know what might possibly be happening, and then you end up making the sound itself, especially in a small room. Just that little sound that doesn't have to.
Another thing I like
You
to
don't
do.
even have to actually use it. It's just the noise. Usually will stop an incident or an erection.
The thing I like to do is to vary, to make contact a number of times and then just make the sound, or turn it off and make contact or touch without it being turned on, to sort of play with the bottoms in that mind that way. So, you want to try this?
I want to try. I want to do it. I want to do it on the lightest setting of the lightest toy. So I cannot.
This is the lightest one.
Hold for just a moment. Hold for just a moment. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't want to ruin it. Okay. I cannot look at the fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What the fuck? Don't you? Oh, okay. You fucker. I did it. It is not nearly that the lightest setting.
That only comes in one setting, but it's a lighter one.
I heard the thing and just freaked, and then the actual contact was not nearly as much as the fear before.
That red stick is less than that.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, okay. Well, are we at a break?
Unfortunately, yes.
Take a break after you try it.
So I hold this at 6 till.
It turns right, and then you discharge it on the first.
Okay.
It's less than the.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give it
You know
a
what?
quick touch on the skin.
Yeah, I can see what you can't see it. Don't look.
Yeah, don't look. Wait.
Big foot. Dom.
Yes, yes.
Dom.
I see you in that mirror.
Close your eyes.
That's it. I can do that. Do it again.
That's a beginner. Right?
What's all the fuss about?
That's doable.
Yeah.
The fear factor's all there, but the actual thing is
Yeah.
not.
And the fly swatter's like that too.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
All right, well, we're going to have a break so Daddy Robert can collect himself. And so come back in 15 minutes for, we're going to have any questions you might have, and we're going to see if we can have a contest between two bottoms to see if either of them can come from Electro on their own. And goodbye to our online audience. We can't show that.